Today's invocation will be by the Reverend Julia Messer Croteau from the rector of St. Aidan's Episcopal Church. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Let us pray. Creator of all and lover of souls, we thank you for raising those called to serve in positions of elected office and those who serve in their office, especially the city employees of Virginia Beach, as well as our residents and guests. We pray that you grant all those present, especially our leaders, a clear vision, open hearts, eyes that see injustice, and hands that reach out in love and support. Please give all of us the courage to speak our truths in a loving way. And as we give thanks for all the joyful religious celebrations in December, we acknowledge the days may be getting darker, but we must strive to bring light as we celebrate with our loved ones, that we may always remember the lost, the least, the last, and the lonely. May we all do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly and peacefully with each other and you. In our faith we pray. Amen.
Amen. And if we may have a moment of silence, to honor those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice to making our nation and our city so great. Thank you. And the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, do we have the roll call?
Yes, sir. All present excluding Councilmember Berlucci, who is ill.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion for the certification of the closed session?
Second.
Okay.
The vote is open.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor, may I have your vote, please? Thank you. By a vote of 9-0, you've certified the closed session to be in accordance with the motion to recess.
Okay, and now may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the informal and formal sessions of November 14th, 2023, the informal and formal sessions of November 21st, 2023, and the formal session of November 28th, 2023.
So moved.
Okay.
The vote is open.
All right.
By a vote of 9-0, you've approved the minutes as submitted.
Okay, and thank you very much. And now it is a time that we really all enjoy here, and that is honoring people that should be honored. And can I ask the folks from the, hang on one second, the cardiac group come from to celebrate? Yep. The Emergency Coronary Care Program.
They have a big event tomorrow.
And I just want to say welcome and thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Whereas in the mid-1940s through the 1960s, Virginia Beach has received basic first aid and emergency transportation services from independently operated volunteer departments and rescue squads. And whereas the advances during the late 1960s, local physicians were volunteering their time to advise rescue squads and medical techniques, learn more about the field, initiated cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR, and recognized the need for centralized training here in the city. And whereas advances in medical care continued, and in 1972, the nation's first all-volunteer advanced life support program was created in Virginia Beach and was known as the Emergency Coronary Care Program, ECCCP. And whereas the Emergency Coronary Program was centrally coordinated and initiated under the direction of Dr. James P. Charlton and Dr. William A. Dickinson, and this program enhanced the provision of patient care in the city and served as a catalyst for transitioning the rescue squads from performing first aid to providing more sophisticated medical procedures through newly trained cardiac technicians. And whereas in 1973, Bruce W. Edwards was the first cohort in the cardiac technician before becoming the executive director of the Emergency Coronary Care Program, and would subsequently go on to lead the city's emergency medical services for more than 40 years. And whereas related centralized administrative and training efforts led to the eventual creation of the Virginia Beach Volunteer Rescue Council in 1974, and an independent division of emergency medical services within the city manager's executive department in 1984, which was elevated to department status in 1989. And whereas the delivery of emergency medical services in Virginia Beach has evolved into a complex service model coordinated by the Department of EMS and responding to more than 53,000 calls for service each year with the combined efforts of career EMS providers, 10 independent volunteer rescue agencies, and EMS-trained fire personnel. Now therefore be resolved that the City of Virginia Beach pause in its deliberations to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Emergency Coronary Program and recognize the importance of this program as the beginning of the city's emergencies medical services, adopted by the City Council of Virginia Beach on this 5th day of December. And I just want to say thank you so much. And we have a resolution that was signed by every member of council. I'm going to bring it down to you. I get my cardio workout. I'm going to give you one.
The mayor asked me to say some words, so lucky for you, I didn't prepare a speech. Just want to say thank you. You know, it's an honor to lead this department that got its humble beginnings 50 years ago now, and through a grassroots effort of Virginia Beach community members. And we look forward to, I know a number of you are able to join us tomorrow evening to celebrate. And we will be celebrating at the Cavalier, which is where the graduation for the first cohort was. And Dr. Dickinson, who was one of the founding physicians, will be saying a few words with us for us tomorrow evening. And I think we have four members of the original cohort that will join us as well. So look forward to seeing you. Thank you.
And thank you. And just personal note, somebody who has heart disease in the Dyer family for generations, and also the recipient of a triple bypass and some other things. Cardiac problems are a major, situation in this great United States. And the more people are trained with the proper types of information, you folks just go about your business saving lives. And I'll tell you what, God bless you and thank you and keep on doing it. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I was going to share the good news tomorrow, but in this forum, I would love to share the good news with you on the tails of that. that right now, the city of Virginia Beach, we have a 56% survival rate for sudden cardiac arrest, which far exceeds the national average. We are also the only city in Hampton Roads to receive the American Heart Association's Gold Award for Mission Lifeline and be on the Target Heart Attack Honor Roll.
Tell you what, that really doesn't surprise anyone, doesn't it? You guys
Thank
are
you.
phenomenal. Thank you.
Thanks.
And another point of pride right here in Virginia Beach. Can we ask our fine folks from Parks and Rec to come on up? Michael, I think you got some good news for us.
We do. It is my distinct honor to be here this evening, to be with you to accept on behalf of the city and the department the Gold Medal Award. At this time, I'd like to introduce Daryl Crittenden. Daryl Crittenden is the Director of Norfolk's Parks and Recreation, and here tonight as a member of the American Academy of Park and Recreation Administration that sponsors the Gold Medal Award. Daryl?
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, Mr. City Manager. My name is Daryl Crittenden, and I'm here this evening once again. I was here 3 years ago when Michael and his department won the finalist award. I knew it was just a matter of time before they actually won the grand plaque. But I wanted to say my primary purpose in presenting this grand plaque award is because it shows they are the highest and most prestigious department in the country. Virginia Beach has always been a flagship department. Even when I started my career early in the 90s, this department was one that every department looked to want to model and actually start their programs, their events. They were fashioned after the city of Virginia Beach. He puts a lot of pressure on me across the city line. I got to keep up with Michael Kirschman in Virginia Beach Parks and Rec. We were just talking about a trail program that we're actually combining our efforts on, but having him over here, it pushes me, and I like that. But the American Academy for Parks and Recreation is a governing organization of the National Gold Medal Award. We consist of 125 distinguished practitioners and scholars in the field who commit to advancing the parks and recreation profession. We are rooted in our desire to advance knowledge, encourage scholarly efforts, and provide services to advance the profession. The Academy focuses on raising the bar to enhance the quality of parks and recreation services through the National Gold Medal Awards program. The National Gold Medal program and this award that your community and the Parks and Recreation Department is about to receive tonight is the premier award in the nation for parks and recreation. They have learned and they have established a higher standard, far higher than any municipal department. And I'm happy to say, and this is my adopted brother, that he is leading that effort. The City of Virginia Beach Parks and Recreation Department truly represents the best of the best. Under the leadership of Director Michael Kirschman, Deputy Director Shirley Deibler, the department has demonstrated significant success with the design of delivery of superior services to the community. And Michael, he engraced me with a couple examples, which actually they're kind of awe-strucking. I was struck by awe when I got these bullet points. Opened the first mountain biking trail in Virginia Beach, 5 miles of multi-use trail at the 100-acre Marshview Park. Kicked off the inaugural Parks After Dark program at Williams Farm Park this past summer. The program had over 12,000 participants over the summer. Groundbreaking of the Bow Creek Stormwater Park, a project that will transform a 100-acre golf course into a new park that will reduce the risk of flooding for thousands of surrounding homes. Hosted the President of the United States at the Kempsville Recreation Center for an address to the nation on health care. That was February 2022. Michael, and to the mayor and the city council members, your agency is now known nationally as a leader in parks and recreation. So on behalf of the American Academy for Parks and Recreation Administration, Musco Lighting, and the National Recreation Park Association, We congratulate you on your success. Mr. Mayor, Mr. City Manager, Director Kirschman, if you could come forward to receive your grand plaque, it is well deserved.
No, thank you all. That's why we're such a great city. Thank you. You make it
Just a brief comment. Daryl's very kind in mentioning my name, but I will tell you that my staff make me look good, right? We have the most professional, dedicated, passionate team of park and recreational professionals than anywhere else in the country. And I've been around and I can say that. We are blessed to have an extensive volunteer corps, and you can see members of the Park and Recreation Commission behind me, as well as the public that support us. It's only through elected official support, public support, quality programs and facilities, and sustained funding do park systems even successfully compete for the Gold Medal Award. But here in Virginia Beach, we have a legacy of doing things well, doing things right, and a legacy of excellence, and it shows. And so really, I just walk on the shoulders of all those before me and all those that work for us, and I'm humbled here tonight to accept this award on behalf of the department. Thank you.
And Mr. Kirschman, let me just say, for 6 decades, 60 years, Virginia Beach has been known, rightfully so, as one of the best places to live in this great country. And it takes a lot of people, it takes a lot of organization, and you are a major part of it that helps make Virginia Beach the great city that it is. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
And may I also add, because I'm the Parks and Rec Commission liaison, I just want to say again, as I said before to you, congratulations. I am immensely proud of what you and your staff have done. We came in about the same time in 2018, and I can attest to your leadership and how things have changed. So thank you again. Thank you for your tenacious spirit, because it took a tenacious spirit, commitment, and dedication. And so I do appreciate what you do. I appreciate your leadership. I appreciate your staff. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for your support.
And thank you, Sabrina. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, at this point, we're moving on to public hearings, and the first one, the acquisition of agricultural lands preservation, ARP easement, for the purchase agreement for 143.38 acres located at 4381 Muddy Creek Road. Any speakers?
There are no speakers, sir.
Okay, moving on to the proposed property tax exemptions for Commonwealth Catholic Charities, Hospice House of Hampton Roads, Only His Grace Church Incorporated, Skill Foundation, Speak Up for Change, and Virginia Beach Recovery Club.
There are no speakers, sir.
Okay, moving on to lease of city property, Farmers Market, Building 2, Space 12, to the County Butcher Shop Incorporated.
Sorry, there are no speakers.
Okay, and then the dedication of easements to Dominion Energy, Virginia, 9,708 square feet, 0.223 acres at 2283, 2285, and 2287 Lansdowne Road for 325 square feet, 0.007 acres at 4200 North Witchduck Road, 1,253 square feet, .0288 acres at 2401 Plantation Drive, and 213 square feet, .0005 acres at 3030 Bray Road. Any speakers?
No speaker, sir.
Okay, and that concludes the public hearings. Okay, now for speakers policy. I want to remind everyone that City Council speaker policy that allows certain representatives of groups to speak for 10 minutes applies only to planning items. All other speakers, whether speaking individually or on behalf of a group, will have up to 3 minutes to speak on a single item. Speakers are reminded that comments during the formal session of the meeting must be limited to the subject of the item that is being considered by the council at the time you are called. For items placed on the consent agenda, a speaker will have up to 3 minutes to address any single item. If a speaker wishes to address multiple consent items, the speaker will have a cumulative total of 6 minutes to address those items. Again, the speakers must limit his or her comments to the subject matter of the items they have signed up to address. And finally, I call upon all speakers and all persons in the chamber to be civil in their discussions and decorum. Whatever views you hold and wish to express, the City Council wants to hear from you and to ensure that all viewpoints and all persons are respected. The best way to do this is for all of us to strive for civility and respect. Madam Vice Mayor, if you'd be so kind to do the consent agenda.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And all the ordinances and resolutions are on consent. Starting with number 1 is the ordinance to amend City Code Section 2-5, Ray, the members of the Historic Preservation Commission. Number 2 is the ordinance to amend City Code Section 2-451, Ray, boards and commissions. Number 3 is the ordinance to repeal City Code Section 2-452, Ray, military liaison commission. Number 4 is the ordinance to repeal Article 2, Chapter 6, Ray, part of Virginia Beach Advisory Commission. Number 5, the resolution to establish a 90-day festival task force requested by Vice Mayor Wilson, Council members Berlucki, Remick, Ross Hammond, and Schulman, and with Councilman Taylor abstaining. Number 6 is the resolution to approve the amendments to the Resort Advisory Commission bylaws. Number 7 is the ordinance to donate the Office of Attorney General, Ray, 44 ballistic vests. Number 8 is the ordinance to authorize temporary encroachments into the city's right-of-way known as Bobolink Drive at 1045 Bobolink Drive, Ray, maintain landscaping and landscaping. Number 9 is the ordinance to appropriate funds from the Tourism Investment Program fund balance and award a $170,000 grant to Hampton Roads Soccer Council, Ray, the site plan and engineering work to re-turf and light several soccer fields in the Hampton Roads Soccer Complex. Number 10 is the ordinance to accept and appropriate $803,000 from the Virginia Department of Juvenile Justice to the FY 2023-24 Human Services Operating Budget, Ray, Juvenile Detention Center. Number 11 is the ordinance to accept and appropriate $36,008.47 from the Virginia Beach Library Foundation to the FY 2023-24 Public Libraries Operating Budget, Ray, the acquisition of a new bookmobile. Number 12 is the ordinance to accept and appropriate state funds totaling $63,164 from the Virginia Department of Environmental Quality to the Waste Management Enterprise Fund within the FY 2023-24 Public Works Operating Budget for $51,332, and Parks and Recreation Operating Budget $11,832, right, litter prevention and recycling. Number 13 is the ordinance to transfer $1,750,000 from Capital Fund Project number 147 Atlantic Park Parking on Capital Project 10606 Atlantic Park Offsite Infrastructure, replenish construction contingencies and meet anticipated requirements to complete the offsite infrastructure work with with Councilman Taylor and myself abstaining. And that is it. I move to approve.
Do I have a second? Second. Okay, any discussion? Vote's open.
By a vote of 9-0, you've approved the consent agenda as read by Vice Mayor Wilson, noting Councilmember Taylor's abstentions and Vice Mayor Wilson's abstention.
And to be noted, my abstention is because of Dominion Energy, and I don't know if Mr. Taylor would like to talk about his abstentions.
Yes, thank you, Vice Mayor. For number 5, although I think a wonderful idea, I have had some questions, and I think at the root of it, it's going to be good. But that's my reason for the abstention, is I just didn't get to a full understanding of the scope and of the project. And then for number 13, again, although necessary and required to move the project forward, not supportive, but did not want to vote against this as it would get in the way of this project moving forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ready? Are we all set? All right, how about appointments at this point?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The Board of Building Code Appeals appoint John David, representing a licensed electrician. The Board of Zoning Appeals to reappoint Bob Thornton. The Chesapeake Bay Area Preservation Board to reappoint Bill Burnett, Casey Jones, Michael Steyer, Janie Young, and to appoint John Hines and Haley Cool. The Clean Community Commission to appoint Lori Zontini. The Community Services Board to reappoint Lori Bridges, Joyce Harvey, Susanna Urosky. The Health Service Advisory Board to appoint Mark Fulton and Michelle Sorensen. The Historic Preservation Commission to reappoint Glenn Carwell, Sharon Felton for 2 years, Richard Klobuchar, and Ellen Perry Livas. The Open Space Advisory Committee reappoint Tuck Bowie. The Planning Commission to appoint Mike Motch as the at-large representative. The Resort Advisory Commission to reappoint Mike Motch, John Zirkle, Bill Yalman, and to appoint Mark Stevens and Harshad Barat. The Virginia Beach Cannabis Advisory Task Force to reappoint Michael Berlucki, Shannon Kane, Andrew Locke, Leif Olson, Damon Watson, and to appoint Jairo Padilla and Captain Michelle Meister. And the Virginia Beach Community Development Corporation to reappoint Audrey Douglas Cook, Andrew Friedman, Timothy McCarthy. The Virginia Beach, Virginia, the VA 250 Committee to appoint Robert Dozier. And that completes the appointments.
Okay,
Move to approve.
okay, we open the vote.
The vote is open. Councilmember Henley, may I have your vote, please? Is she not up there? I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. By a vote of 8-0, you have appointed those as read by Vice Mayor Wilson.
Okay, thank you. At this point, any old business? New business? Okay, we are adjourned. We're going to open mic now.